All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Athlete Artist Show. I am the artist Kyle Forch alongside the athlete professional hockey player Zach Boychuk. Back with a guest for the first time in a while. Extremely special guest coming from the Olympics. She's a Team Canada freestyle skier, a 7-time winner X Games medalist, including 3 golds, a 4-time World Championships medalist, and most recently, the first Canadian woman to win 2 free ski medals at an Olympic Games, including 1 bronze medal in slopestyle and an Olympic gold medal in big air. Please welcome Megan Oldham.
Oh, thank you. That's a good intro. Holy, it's crazy like listening to all that afterwards. I'm like, whoa, you forget some of it.
I heard they're calling you Megan Goldham. Is that going around quite a bit?
Yeah, that one's pretty funny. I went home and my whole community is calling me Goldham. Like, whoa, okay. Yeah.
I lost my breath there a little bit reading over all of your accolades. Did I miss anything, or did I hit them all?
Oh, I think you nailed it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We know you're in Whistler. I mean, went right back to training after you got back from Milan. Like no time off for a gold medalist, hey?
Yeah, honestly, that's the crazy thing. I think people think we usually get a bit of a break, but the season's still going. So, I have another World Cup at the end of March, so in a couple weeks. And yeah, back here, I have a little downtime, keeping a bit more chill, but still on the mountain most days, and just trying to kind of chip away at some tricks and yeah, keep the progression going.
What's your experience been like since the Olympics? We'll get into obviously your experience in Milan, but what has it been like since you got back to Canada and especially after winning a gold medal for your country?
Yeah, it's been so crazy. Like, I think you kind of hear things from people. Like, I expected it to be busy and like kind of chaotic, but it was more than I even expected, which is crazy. It's just like lots of media stuff. So like for instance, like I finished my event at 10 p.m. and I didn't finish all of my media obligations until 1:30 in the morning. And that
Wow.
was like the bare minimum because I was like, oh, I want to go out and like celebrate with my family. So I'll just do like the things that are necessary tonight and then we can do the rest tomorrow. And yeah, it still took me till 1:30 in the morning before I could leave the media zone. But
That's
so fun.
crazy.
It's been such a whirlwind in the best possible way. I went back home to my local community. I have like a town of 6,000 people, and I think every single person showed up for our event, which was cool. So I was just, they were playing music and they had a little rally in the street, and just like seeing the sea of people there to support me was absolutely insane.
For the media stuff, do they have like a PR person kind of dragging you through the media area, or what is it like for you guys compared to hockey? Because I know for the hockey teams, as soon as they left the ice, they're walking through a media zone before they even get to the locker rooms. Is it similar for you guys in freestyle skiing?
Yeah, it's pretty similar. They have different zones, but yeah, as soon as I finish, they have an outdoor media zone. So I walked through there, probably talked to like 30 different media outlets.
Jeez,
And then they do like a proper press conference where they like have all of the medalists come in and do like a proper conference where they ask questions, which is about an hour. And we do have a media attache person who comes with us for Freestyle Canada, which is huge because I basically just listen to her and she tells me who to go see and and what's next. And then obviously they have a big broadcast center that they set up on the ground, like CBC, and I did multiple interviews there as well.
that's awesome. What does it feel like for you to get that type of media attention? Because I know like some athletes are super comfortable with it. Some athletes are there. You see them super comfortable in their events, and then you get in front of a camera and they're like, "Oh, this is different."
Mhm. Yeah, honestly, I feel like the media stuff, I think the biggest thing is we're just not used to that sort of media attention at events. Like most of the time in the season, like we're not like hockey where lots of people show up and watch. It's like we're doing a World Cup and there's maybe 10 people on the side of the run watching, and if we're lucky, one media person at the bottom. So I think it's just like it's a bit weird to get used to the amount of eyes that are on the Olympics and how much media is drawn to that event. But talking in front of them in general, it's not too bad. But yeah, it's just weird to see that many people show up for us at our events.
What was your itinerary like in terms of day to day at the Olympics? Like from the day you got there to obviously competing and then after competing?
Yeah, we had a pretty hectic schedule. So because I did two events, I had slopestyle first and then big air. Um, we basically were training every day. I think I did at the beginning 7 straight days of riding, which for our sport is like unheard of. We almost never go past 3 days straight. So 7 days was a lot of riding. And obviously because it's the Olympics, they give you a bit more training, which is sweet. You get to be a bit more prepared. But yeah, I was riding like 3, 4 hours sometimes a day, which is a ton for us. So basically my schedule was like wake up, we'd do like warm-ups in the gym, we'd go to the hill, ride for 4 hours, and then come back, get treatment, physio, kind of eat, chill. So yeah, pretty full schedule for sure. For the big air portion, we were doing everything at night. So once we switched to big air, our schedules kind of swapped a bit. So we wouldn't be starting till like 6 or 7 p.m. at night and then
Yeah.
not back at the hotel till like 11 p.m.
I liked those times because it gave me time to watch them here. I didn't have to wake up at like 2 a.m. to check out those events.
Totally. Yeah. And same with all my family and friends back home. Like, I think Big Air was a lot easier to watch because it was midday. You didn't have to set your alarms and be up
Yeah.
super early. Yeah.
I would wake up and I would have to go through the schedule and make sure I didn't miss any of the runs. 'Cause I got so into freestyle skiing during the Olympics. Like
Did you?
yeah,
Yay.
I'm mainly a hockey guy, like as is Zach, but I felt like this year for the Olympics, I was so into all the different events, especially freestyle ski and figure skating. I looked at all of you guys as athletes, and I found in freestyle ski and snowboard and figure skating, the age range of you guys as athletes is so much younger than some of the other events, especially in hockey. And I was like, what
Mhm.
was I doing when I was like 17 years old or 24 years old? I was not preparing for the Olympics, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's the crazy thing about our sport for sure. I feel like as we go on, the age range gets younger and younger because people are starting earlier. And obviously for us, injury, I think, is a big part of your career longevity.
Mm.
And so when you're young, you're like just starting, you're a little bit more elastic. So you take some of those falls a little bit easier. But yeah, there's like some 15, 16-year olds in our sport, which is crazy to see at the Olympics because it's so young.
It was nuts, especially them being at the Olympics. I mean, you're what, 24?
Yeah, I'm 24.
And
Mhm.
like your second Olympics at 24 is crazy too.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I'm considered like kind of later in the pack now, especially for the girls. Like there's a
Which
few
is nuts.
outliers that are like 30, 28, but like 24 is considered pretty like towards the end of your career, which is insane.
That's kind of comparative to I work in music entertainment mainly, and on
Mhm.
the K-pop side or pop side, that's similar. Like 24 is like the t- the top end for starting a career, I guess. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're fine. Like you have a long time left to go.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's crazy.
How do you get into big air and freestyle ski in general, especially something like big air, like
Mhm.
where you decide to fling yourself off a jump and one land it and you're like, oh, this was fun. Two, you realize you're good at it. How is that process like to get into something like freestyle ski? Because for me, and I don't know if it was the same for you or Zach, I compare it to like middle school when you start going on school trips to the mountains. Like I grew up in BC, so for us it was Silver Star, I think, in Vernon. And you go down the train park for the first time, and you either hit that jump and you crash and you decide you're not doing that again, or you hit it and you're like, oh, let's keep trying this, and you gradually get better and better at it. What was it like for you?
Totally. Yeah, freestyle skiing is definitely a lot of trial and error. I think like for me, the way I started, I grew up doing a lot of gymnastics and figure skating. So I think that really helped my like base air awareness. I like already knew how to flip. I knew kind of like where I was in the air. I was spinning when I was skating. So that felt natural to me. And then I grew up kind of same thing with my family. We'd go on ski trips, not as much with school, but we would definitely go on family trips and go skiing. And then my brother kind of just naturally fell into it, and I think he was really the one who pushed me. I always trying to keep up with my two brothers, and he was like, "Meg, I think this is something you'd really like." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll give it a try." And I went with him to our local hill and just did a trial day with a team and was like instantly hooked because I feel like it just brought both figure skating and gymnastics into one sport, which was sweet.
Zach, you called the gymnastics there. We before you popped on, we talked about that same question. He was like, "Yeah, I wonder if she was into gymnastics before."
Yeah, I have three sisters. I have a twin sister. They all did gymnastics. They all did figure skating. So I think it's probably a similar. They obviously didn't get into the freestyle skiing, but she actually my twin sister was really good. She went to like the X Games and she was mostly with the trampoline, I think. Double mini tramp, like kind of not as many events in the Olympics, but more like the X Games and stuff. So she traveled around a lot for that. But yeah, I'm not spatially aware. I never really did the figure skating twists and turns. So I don't think I'd be a very good freestyle skier.
That's funny. Yeah, that's so cool actually. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of freestyle skiers, especially on the aerial side, grow up with some sort of trampoline or gymnastics background. Yeah, yeah, or some sort of racing background as well. I didn't have that, and sometimes I wish I did because I definitely think racing and moguls teaches you a lot about like ski control, like how to like fundamentally just ride your skis or your snowboard. But yeah, gymnastics helps so much with the air awareness side of things.
Did you do much like water skiing or like wakeboarding or like stuff like that? Or is it mostly like the winter stuff?
I did a bit for sure, yeah. Like, so my hometown, we're on Georgian Bay. And so a lot of people in my town have a cottage, and I grew up with a cottage. So we would go every once in a while. Like, I was never super good, but I could get up and water ski, wakeboard, kind of turn around. Yeah.
I grew up on a lake
Yeah.
and I never got up once. I was a kneeboarder until my knees were bad. I was like,
Kneeboarder.
I'll stick to
Yeah,
snowboarding and
that's funny.
Yeah, I'm
would
more of like the wake surfer. I don't like my feet like planted in where like my knees can go anywhere. So it's just if I get off the board, I just jump off. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, wake surfing's pretty fun. I've only done it a couple times, but it's so sick.
did you
For
try
sure.
all of the different freestyle ski events? Because there's I think 8 of them at the Olympics total.
Hmm. I didn't. So I grew up and I started more, I guess, with slope style
Okay.
because when you go ride a terrain park, it's kind of a mix of jumps and rails. Half pipe, unfortunately, is kind of hard these days. Like even when I started skiing, they're just hard to come by. They don't really have any proper 22-foot half pipes. I think Calgary is the only place in Canada that has one left.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, it's pretty hard to get into half pipe unless you're like born around one. And then Big Air, I mean, it kind of evolved as I was starting to get onto the national team. And I mean, you're hitting jumps all the time in slopestyle, so it kind of transfers over. But no, aerials and moguls, I never grew up doing. I wish I did because I think it would have helped my overall skiing. But yeah.
How hard is it for like going from each event to each event? Um, like the skill set transfer, like you mentioned, like you wishing yet you tried these other events. Could you start them now and still be successful, do you think? Or how would your current skills in big air and slope style transfer over?
Yeah, it's hard. I think half pipe would probably closely relate the most. And you do see athletes who do that. Eileen does all three events. There's a few slopestyle riders who, after they retire from slopestyle, will go and do half pipe.
Okay.
I think it's possible. The hard part that I struggle with is at this point, the progression has gotten so crazy in our sport that if you want to stay kind of at that top level and be super competitive, doing three different disciplines is really hard to maintain like that level at all three
Yeah.
because it takes so much training and then it's so much more impact on your body. you're prone to more injury. So like if you get injured, then you're out for a while. So yeah, I think it's kind of like you kind of have to pick and choose. And for me, I'm like at this point, I think my focus is more just slope and big air and trying to progress that side of the sport.
I was surprised that Australia has so many good winter athletes, especially when it comes to freestyle ski. Like I saw a clip of them and they're just doing their tricks into a pool. I was like,
Yeah.
how does that help you land? I feel like that would help you in the air, but like the landing would be a hit or miss type of
Sounds
thing.
sounds safer, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, we actually do a lot of that. For us, not as much in the water. That's more moguls and aerials, but
Okay.
we in the summer, we hit this airbag and it's basically like this massive inflatable bouncy
Mm,
castle material and you'll go off dry slope, so it's like this plastic turf and they make a jump out of it and then you land on this airbag material. So if you like land on your back or your head or something like that, it doesn't hurt like
okay.
snow would, and then you can practice some of your bigger tricks and it's a bit safer.
Can you still? How does the landing on the skis work with the airbag? Like, is it dangerous for your knees if you just hit it straight on and it, like buckles, or does it give you some sort of slide so you can at least like land and absorb some of that impact? Or
Yeah, it's kind of it works really well, honestly. Like
okay,
basically you land and you don't want to ride out like you would on snow. You kind of land on your feet and then you purposely instantly like fall to your side
okay,
because it gets kind of dangerous when you're trying to ride out because it's slippery and then you like split or you turn and your knee gets kind of tweaked.
right,
But they can be, I think the biggest thing with airbags is you get a lot of whiplash. So you see a lot of people who end up with concussions or just like a lot of neck pain, whiplash symptoms, stuff like that. But overall, it's like it's so good for learning new tricks.
You had something like that, like what, 6 weeks before the Olympics? You were like hospitalized, concussion, like something pretty bad, right? Some whiplash. What happened there?
Yeah, yeah, that was like my first pretty serious concussion. And I was just on a training camp with my team, kind of leaning into the Olympics, was like, I really want to like push my skills, try and learn some new things. And I tried to do a dub 16. And the crazy thing is I literally don't remember anything from the day. It's just everything that I've been told. So basically, like I remember waking up that morning and meeting my team at the hill, but everything after that, I don't know and has never come back, which is kind of scary. But also, I wonder if it's like my body's way of kind of protecting me. Like, I don't want to know exactly how scary it was. But yeah, I basically just landed backwards a little bit too heavy. So I fell back and hit my head on the ground. I apparently
ooh,
wasn't knocked unconscious. Apparently I like got up instantly, was like skiing away. But that's the weird thing with concussions is like they can be so different for every person and
yeah,
sometimes it looks like you barely hit your head and it's super serious and sometimes you crack your entire helmet in half and it's all good. So yeah, that was kind of scary. I like went up to the lodge. I guess I was repeating myself every like 20 seconds, saying the same questions, like where am I? And I think I was pretty stressed about the Olympics at that point because I kept saying like, when are the Olympics? Like, how much time do we have till the Olympics? Um, they took me to the hospital. I did a CT scan to look at my brain. Same thing, don't remember any of that. And then kind of started to come to after I'd been in the hospital for probably like 4 hours.
wow,
And yeah, yeah, pretty crazy experience. And then stayed overnight in the hospital just to like monitor and make sure that there was no changes, no brain bleed or anything like that. And yeah, started to feel a bit better, but it's such a process with concussions and I feel like I learned a lot. I went home for 2 weeks and it's crazy how sensitive you are to things like just flying home. The travel was like insane. I had to wear earplugs because the noise was just
yeah.
so overwhelming. I couldn't look at the screen, so I was just sitting there for 7 hours, like staring at a blank screen. Yeah, yeah, crazy experience. But after probably like 4 or 5 weeks, I was feeling really good and didn't have any symptoms anymore. And obviously had a lot of support from my federation, so they really kind of helped step me through the whole rehab process and got me back to where I needed to be.
Was that crash filmed? Like, were you able to see it afterwards, or just go by what like teammates and the people that were there were telling you?
I only went off what they were telling me. I think my
Okay.
coaches probably have a video, but a lot of times when you crash bad, they don't want to show you just
Mm,
because there's, I don't know, worried it's gonna kind of get into your mental space and mess with you in the future. So they've never showed me the video, but I've just kind of heard pieces of what happened.
yeah. The reason I asked that is because I got knocked out in an MMA fight when I was 17, and I was similar to you. Don't remember the actual event. Like I remember beforehand, and then after it was what people were telling me until I saw the actual film of it. And then
Right.
my memory, like I think I was confusing what I actually remembered with what was going on in the film and stuff like that. So it was super weird for me. But I remember the hospital, but I afterwards I was similar. It sounds similar to what you mentioned you were going through in terms of like repeating stuff. Like they were trying
Mhm.
to tell me my nose was broken. I was like, it's not broken. Like I don't need to go to the hospital. What are you talking about? They're like, your nose is fucking broken. You're going to the hospital. Like you have much bigger issues right now than going to the after party.
That's
Uh,
so funny.
yeah,
I was the
concussions are
same
scary.
too. Yeah, they were like trying to keep me overnight in the hospital. I was like, I don't want to stay overnight. I'm fine. I'm all good. They're like, you're clearly not good.
They
You're
didn't
sick.
even concussion test me either. It was nuts.
Oh,
Like
really?
they took an
Yeah.
X-ray of my nose and they're like, "Yeah, you're gone." And I've
Wow.
still had issues like head issues since then.
Yeah, I think that's a thing with concussions. You see that in a lot of sports, and they've gotten a lot better with freestyle skiing, which is reassuring. They didn't used to do any sort of concussion protocol, and now
Mm,
it's like as soon as you say you hit your head or they think you hit your head, you have to go through this really big process where you pass all these different stages and do all these different cognitive tests. So that's good because they're kind of looking out a bit more for athletes' overall health.
yeah, it's the same in hockey. They've gotten a lot stricter about concussion protocols and even
Mhm.
football. Football, I think, especially after that movie came out,
Right.
the movie Concussion. After that came out, and then people really started looking into it. I think a lot of the sports started to take action. If you have a crash like that at an event, do they? If you pass those like concussion protocols or testing, will they still let you go out for the next run if you have a run left, or will they just automatically pull you from the event?
I think a lot of times with head stuff, it really depends. I most of the time they'll pull you. And with
Really?
the
Okay.
like protocol stuff, it's like a at least a 7 to 10 day process, like at the minimum
Oh
to pass
wow.
all the stages. Yeah, because they like make you wait for a day in between each stage at least. And yeah, so most of the time you can't, but the hard part too is I think because they're so strict, sometimes you see athletes where they kind of hit their head and you're like, they don't want to say anything. They're like, I'm good, nothing
Yeah.
happened, like I'm totally fine, which is kind of the danger with it too, is you don't really want people lying about how they're feeling, but sometimes it happens because they're worried they're gonna have to go through the whole process.
Especially at a big event like that. If it's like the Olympics, no one wants to get pulled out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they try their best. Like at some of the bigger events, I think the staff work with you a bit better. And I mean, you see like Mark McMorris at the Olympics this year, he
Mm,
had a pretty bad concussion and they kind of try to fast track things as long as it's safe. So for his case, I think he was able to compete because it was like 6 or 7 days later and he
yeah.
passed all the stages. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there were some scary injuries this year in different
Yeah.
events. There was one, I think it was a half pipe snowboarder. Oh, I forget her name off the top of my head. Um,
She was the one who won the event. Gaon, is that her name? I
um,
forget.
her, her too. But there's what was her name? Shoot, I forget her name off the top of my head. She was, she was unreal. But the one, I think it was her final trick on
Was it a
her.
Canadian girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth Hosking. Yeah,
Hosking. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And when she like her board just kind of clipped the edge of the half pipe when she came down and just like smacked her head. It looked so rough, and she just like got up. She was like laid there for a second and then got up and was like fine. I was like, you're so
Yeah.
lucky.
That's the thing with half pipe too, is their margin for error is so small. The second you clip the deck, it's over. Like there's no saving it. For us in big air, like you can go a little deep or a little short and you're fine. But half pipe, it's like you need to land in that sweet spot where like you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you, And when you compete at these big events like the Olympics, especially the Olympics, but even like X Games World Championships, are you able to stay in the moment, or do you kind of black out and you don't really come to until your run's done, and then you're like, okay, that felt good, or like, do you really get to enjoy the moment at these events?
Yeah, I think like for me personally, at those bigger events like the Olympics, there's so many people there, so much outside noise. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for me to perform well, I find that like I don't like paying attention to everything around me because sometimes it starts to feel like too much pressure when you're just seeing thousands of people and you're like, everybody's here watching me. Like it feels like a lot. So I'll try to go like I put in headphones and I'll listen to music and I find that kind of gets me in my own little world. I'm just like able to kind of have more fun with it and focus. So I'm kind of just listening to music and more in that like focus zone. And then once I like land my run or I'm done my trick, then I kind of take a sec, pause my music, and try and enjoy and like look around and soak in the whole moment. But it definitely can feel like a lot. And maybe like with hockey, Zach, you're probably more used to that. Like you always have people around. But yeah, for us, it's kind of weird to have that many people. So
Yeah, the individual sports are crazy. I don't know how you guys handle the pressure, especially after an injury like that you had. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine some of the things that be going through your head. Just making it to the Olympics after that is pretty impressive. And you know, but while you were there, were you guys mostly in Milan or Cortina? Was it like how far away were you from Milan, like on the mountain?
yeah, we were pretty far. We were in Livigno, so we were I want to say 4.5 hours from Milan.
Oh wow.
So we
Okay.
were kind of like in our own village bubble for most of it, but at the end it was sick. Once we finished competing, we got to go down to Milan. So my teammates and I stayed there just close to the athlete village and we went and watched a bunch of events. We saw the gold medal hockey game, which was sick.
Wow.
And then we saw some like speed skating and other events, which was kind of fun to just, I don't know, enjoy the Olympic atmosphere.
Heartbreaking game, that one.
Yeah, that was
Thanks,
hard. We
thanks
were
for bringing
like,
it back up.
yeah, yeah,
It
God, it was like,
would have
oh.
been cool to be there though. Did you get to
Yeah.
like go there for free? A lot of the athletes like got their own section, right?
Yeah, yeah, we were so lucky. One of my teammates is so savvy with finding things, and before we even got to the Olympics, she had already found this like athlete portal that I don't think any of the other athletes knew about. So we got tickets to all the best events before they sold out, which was pretty sweet.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
All right.
So you guys stayed 4 hours away from Milan. So what was the atmosphere like in your village that in between competitions before you were able to go back to Milan? Like how was the food? How were the rooms? Like that type of stuff.
Honestly, I think we had the best athlete village. Livigno was so sick. I think just because we were a smaller crew, like Milan, there's obviously a lot more sports. So they had a bigger village. For us, it was a smaller core group. So we had, I think, better facilities. Like the food was pretty good. They were making fresh pizza every single meal, fresh
Nice.
pasta, and then they kind of just had basics. You have like some protein, some chicken, rice, that sort of thing. But the food was super good. And then our hotel was sick because it was like everyone was staying in this one massive hotel. And I think it was probably a 5-star hotel because the basement was the spa area and you could go down there every day and they had like two different saunas, a steam room, a cold plunge, these relaxation rooms. They had like different showers with like salt scrubs and stuff. So
That's
honestly,
sick.
we were living it up. Like you'd finish training and just go straight down to the spa for an hour every day.
That's unreal.
Yeah, no, that was
That's
sick.
the type of recovery you need, right? After a long day on the hill, you just go hop in the sauna and a little cold bath or something.
Yeah, honestly, it was the best. And I went to Beijing in 2022, and that was a COVID Olympics. And I
Oh
like
yeah.
being in Italy, it was just like night and day, so much better.
I was gonna ask what the experience, like the difference in experience was like between Beijing and Milan and Cortina.
Yeah, so different. I feel like the biggest thing is just because Beijing was COVID, so everything
Yeah.
was so shut down. Like And I almost think it made it feel more serious because in some way it was like kind of eerie quiet. Like there was no family there, there was no friends watching, there was not really any audience. It was just like you're here to do your event, and it just felt so serious. And Italy was just so much more fun, like having the atmosphere of everyone there at the bottom cheering you on, having all the little like activations with different sponsors. Yeah, the food was so much better. Yeah, it was really different.
You mentioned sponsors there. I wanted to talk about that as well because you see, like, obviously in hockey, they play a lot of them play in the NHL. So like they're throughout the year, like their salaries and stuff, I guess, are taken care of. When it comes to events and sports like free ski,
Hmm.
are you able to get like your own sponsors outside of like the Olympic sponsors and stuff like that? Because I know in figure skating they have that, but what's it like in free ski for you guys? Like, is that how? Obviously you see a lot of rumors online about, oh, like Olympic athletes don't get paid, or they like, what's the actual reality of that for in free ski?
Yeah, for sure. It's different in every discipline. We're really fortunate with slopestyle big air. We have a lot of freedom, but you look at moguls and aerials, and it's such a controlled sport atmosphere
Mm,
that, like you say, they can't have any outside sponsors, which you see it really impacts their sport
yeah.
because, like you say, they just can't make any money, and then people don't want to watch because the sport just, I don't know, they don't have those stories behind them and stuff like that. So for us, we're super lucky. We have some team partnerships which you have to comply with, but outside of that, you market yourself, you have different sponsors. So for me, I'm with like Monster, Atomic, Giro, like I have five
Sick.
or six different sponsors, and honestly, it makes such a world of a difference because that's the only way that I can afford to ski all year long and actually make it a proper career because the funding you get from your country is like nothing to cover any of the costs.
Yeah,
You
especially
might
in
get a
North
little bit
America.
if you win gold, right? I think some countries like pay way more than Canada does, but winning medals obviously gets you a little bit from Canada, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think I haven't got like an official email yet, but I keep hearing things that it's like I think between like 15 and like 25,000 Canadian dollars
Yeah.
for a gold, which
Some
isn't
countries
bad.
pay like
Canadian dollars.
250,000
Yeah.
or something, right?
Yeah. Well,
Crazy.
there's one girl, the Chinese girl who at the last Olympics, from what we heard, made like $1 million from her gold medal. And we're like,
From,
wow,
oh
that would
wow.
be very nice.
Was
That'll
that
go a long
Eileen?
ways for sure.
Yeah, that'll jumpstart you for sure.
Was that Eileen or someone else?
Eileen, yeah, yeah. And not confirmed, but like we've been hearing that China pays super, super well for
Yeah,
gold medal.
I think even Japan and Korea too. Like they're they have so much more appreciation for their athletes, I think, than like Canada and the US do, unless it's like hockey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, which is shitty to say. Like, obviously as a fan base in a country they're supportive, but the actual like government or the overseeing organizations, they don't put in nearly as much as like I believe they should, and obviously you as
Totally.
an athlete and Zach too. Like, it's I don't think there's any reason that the Olympic athletes should be paying their own way to get to the Olympics.
I know. And you hear some of them, like especially some of the more niche sports like speed skating and bobsled. Like I know one of the speed skater girls, she is at this Olympics was back to back Olympic champion, and she had to take out a loan to afford to go to the Olympics, which is insane. Like if you're winning gold back to back, you should not be paying out of pocket to go to the Olympics.
No. So is
Yeah.
that something that you have to focus on too in terms of like branding yourself outside of the sport to actually be able to, like you said, afford and like make a paying career out of it, so you can actually focus on the sport at hand rather than having an outside job? But does that also take away from your focus on the sport, having to worry about this outside funding and sponsorships?
Yeah,
Or do
it's
you
definitely a
enjoy it?
balance. Like, I think you're right. The more you do outside of the sport in terms of sponsors helps a lot. Um, you see a lot of people in our industry doing more like influencer style
Mm-hmm.
deals because you can make pretty good money doing that, or they run a YouTube channel on the side where they're posting vlogs and getting ad revenue from that. And yeah, like you say, like it's hard because it's a balance. You need to make money so that you can continue to do the sport. But then the more time you take away from actually training, the harder it is to kind of stay at that top level. So it is
Yeah.
hard.
Do you have like a team around you that helps with that, or do you kind of run everything yourself?
You run everything yourself, but you can kind of create your own team. So, like for
Yeah.
me, I have an agent that works for me. Lots of people have like, I don't know, yeah, like marketing managers or some sort of help. And that makes a big difference. I mean, like having an agent to kind of go to those bigger brands and approach them and speak on your behalf makes it a lot easier. But for the most part, like anything else you want to do, like if you're running a YouTube channel, that's you, unless you hire your own filmer or hire
Yeah.
someone to take it over. But yeah, it's a lot of responsibility on us as athletes.
It's a different game nowadays, especially in athletics and entertainment in general. Like even Zach years ago, he was really the first hockey player outside of like Paul Bissonnette. I think it was both of them, but that really started building a brand and a platform for himself outside of hockey. And then you see in music now, a lot of artists, especially on the songwriter side in Nashville, they just want to focus on the songwriting, but it's like you
Mhm.
have to focus on everything now. Like you have to treat it as a business to really take a level up in terms of wanting to make a living off of it.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. And you see lots of athletes like that too that like will win Olympic medals, but because you don't have that big brand that you've built behind you, it's kind of like it's crazy because the Olympics are such a big thing and
Yeah.
people do remember it, but honestly only to an extent. It's like 2 or 3 years down the line, people are kind of like, oh, who won again, or like what happened. So you do have to kind of like build outside of just the achievements themselves for sure.
It's a
Yeah,
crazy
and
game.
you've probably been doing it like all week, hey, with the all the media stuff that you've been getting with probably CBC, like TSN, Sportsnet. Your Instagram must be going off the hook. Have you had like other brands and stuff reaching out or talking to your agent and stuff like that?
Yeah, a bit for sure, which is sweet. I think definitely the Olympics has brought like the most eyes to our sport of anything. So that's been pretty cool. I think the coolest part is I've been invited to so many random like events and things. So like I got to go to a Toronto Maple Leafs game and sit in a suite, and like next week I'm gonna go deliver the game ball for a Toronto soccer game, and like just
Nice.
random little things like that, which is super sick. But yeah, my agent's been definitely busy getting like lots of inquiries about things. I think it'll take a little bit of time. Like it's not super instant, but talking to a lot of different brands, which is super sweet, and hopefully it'll kind of turn into more established partnerships going forward, but we'll see.
Do you plan to do more outside content, like to build your platform a little bit more, or are you like, or are you have plans to like hire someone to, like we just talked about, like helping with like YouTube or vlogging or that type of thing?
Yeah, it's hard. I really want to do a bit of that stuff, but I don't. I'm kind of like trying to pick and choose what route I want to go. I don't necessarily want to go like full influencer side. I'm happy to
Right.
do kind of like a couple partnerships with brands here and there and put out content for them, but I don't want it to be my full-time gig. So I'm kind of trying to like find someone who can help me do kind of what I want with that side of it. Like also in freestyle skiing, we do a lot of like video parts and stuff like that. So I think want to go more that direction, like taking on bigger projects where I do like one full ski movie part that comes out with my sponsors rather than doing like little tiny pieces all over social media, but definitely a mix.
That'd be cool. I like the like. Are you talking like a multi-part series type of thing?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Cool.
Like
That'd
I
be
put
sweet.
out a little project with Monster a couple of years ago that kind of just like highlighted my journey in skiing and like doing the triple cork. That was one of the tricks that I did a couple of years ago. And I thought that was super cool. It's just kind of storytelling through that side of things. So I want to do a bit more of that.
How is the partnership with Monster? 'Cause they've always been one of my favorite brands in terms of energy drinks. So like always see a ton of different athletes working with them. Like how is it for you? Your experience been with them?
They're so epic. I honestly think they're the sickest sponsor ever. Like they're just so supportive, and I think the cool thing about them as a brand is they're like you do you, you be authentic and show your side as an athlete, and we'll support you. Like, it's never, we need you to put out this content piece or like talk on this drink flavor or do this. It's like you go out there, you ski, you rep yourself, and the content that you get from that is what we're hyped on. So I think that's sick because I just feel in complete ownership of my brand. I don't feel ever forced to do anything. And they're just so supportive with everything. Like, you want to do a video part, you talk to them, they're like, here's some money, put it together. You want to throw an event, they're like, here's all the supplies, a team that'll come help you. No, they're so sick.
That's unreal. Do they do events too, like competition events or showcase events for you? Or what outside of the Olympics, X Games, and like World Cup, World Championships do you have for additional events per year?
Yeah, I mean, so Monster specifically, like they'll partner with events. So Monster is the main sponsor for X Games, which
Right.
is one of the sickest events of the year. So I'm always doing that one. But besides World Cups and those sort of competitions, we kind of get to this springtime in our season where the competition season ends, and then there's lots of events, but they're kind of just fun events that they put on. And sometimes there's a bit of money, but it's more just about like getting content or like
Yeah.
just having fun with your friends. So this year I'm gonna go to Japan for Nines, which
Ooh.
is this big event they put on where they basically just build the most ridiculous looking ski course you can find, crazy transfers, and sometimes they build castles out of snow and you're jumping over them. Stuff like that. And it's just really cool because you go and have a good time and shoot with your friends and get some cool videos to post on Instagram and stuff.
Oh, this looks sick.
Yeah, you should watch some of it. It's crazy. They've been doing it forever. It used to be Audi nines, and now I think it's Swatch nines. But
Yeah.
like in the past, they'll build like, yeah, insane castle setups where you're like riding through tunnels, hitting jumps, and like gapping over like 70-foot transfers. It's crazy.
Yeah, this looks insane.
It's insane. Yeah, yeah. They put so much money into building the wildest course. And it's like mostly visual too. So people just look at it and you're like, how is this possible that you ride this setup?
Yeah. Do they have it broadcasted anywhere or online, or how does someone like from Canada that would be supporting you watch that?
They do one day at the end of the week where they will broadcast it, and
Okay.
it's kind of like competition, but it's more like an exhibition where we're just going in there and doing tricks to kind of show the crowd. But their whole basis is like throughout that week that we're there, they're pumping out so much content on their YouTube, on their Instagram. All the sponsors that partner with them get access to the content and they just kind of throw it out there.
That's another a good segue into the Olympic content. So will Nines allow you to actually share the content on your pages? And
Yeah, as so they'll
okay.
give you the rights to the content as an athlete,
Okay.
but I couldn't share it with my sponsors to promote unless they sponsor the event. So like
Gotcha.
you as an athlete get it. But yeah, different than the Olympics. The Olympics you have no rights.
It was
You can use
nuts.
nothing. It sucks. Yeah.
It
It's
was
fun farmer.
insane, especially like I get it for media and like people like us, but like for athletes like yourself, not being able to share clips is crazy.
But the craziest part is they have this like window of time. It's under, I think it's called Rule 40. And basically from like 5 days before the Olympics till after the Olympics, you can't even mention your sponsors. Like you can't, the ones who sponsor you like throughout your entire career, like I can't even put up like repost a new piece of gear. I can't like tag them. I can't comment them. I can't be like, thank you to my sponsors for helping me get to the Olympics. Like, no, you can't say any of that. It's so crazy.
That's where you got to pull a move like Utah did in speed skating and just like they had I don't know if you saw it, but they had I think the team sponsor for their outfits or for their gear was like
Yeah.
Fila, and then she like as soon as she won gold, she like unzipped and it was just a Nike sponsor underneath.
Yeah, but you know what when you do that, you get hit with a fine, which is insane. So she probably got, I don't know what it is exactly, but I heard you get like a $10,000 fine if you
Oh,
do
I
that.
mean, if they paid her $1 million
But
though, like
that's the
that's
thing.
like I'll
And I
take
think
that
it's so,
$10,000 fine all day.
yeah, and sometimes I think the brands will take it, they'll be like, okay, like, you took
100%.
one gold, like, here's $10,000, we'll cover your fine. Like that was great
100%.
promotion.
I saw Eileen doing it too when during your guys' event when she won silver and you won gold, and she was like, she was pushing up her sleeve to
Watch?
show the watch. Yeah.
So funny because a few
So
people have
funny.
said that to me, and like the IOC hates that. Because for them, it's like she can kind of play dumb and be like, oh, like I was hot. I don't know. I wanted to roll up my
So
sleeve, but like
funny.
it's pretty obvious. So they hate when you do that because they're like, technically you're not breaking a rule, but like you're kind of breaking a rule.
I was laughing so hard because I was like, that's a brand's dream type of athlete.
Yeah,
Just subtle.
because you're not
subtle.
skiing with your like $10,000 watch on.
No. It was so fun. As soon as I saw just the casual just roll up pose, I was like, this is unreal.
Yeah, yeah.
You should have done
What's
that.
next for you? Oh, sorry. Yeah,
No,
you
go
should
ahead.
have done that for sure. What's next for you? So you got the World Cup coming up. Where is that? And then I guess your plans are probably to eventually get to France, right? That's the next
Mhm.
Olympics is in France.
Yeah, France. Yeah, so my plan, yeah, kind of training until the last World Cup, end of March, and then we have some of those fun events. So I'll go to Japan, maybe back to Europe for a little bit. There's a lot of sponsor obligations in the spring where they're kind of doing shoots for new product or just trying to get content to put out on their social media. So a bit of that. But yeah, my overall plan, definitely just so hyped on skiing and want to keep progressing, focusing towards France. I mean, 4 years sounds like a lot, but it's crazy how quick it comes.
You're still young too, so you can just keep going. I mean, what is it? Lindsay, is it? No, not Lindsay Vaughn. Why am I blanking here?
I'm blanking
Is it
too.
Lindsay Vaughn?
She's pretty, yeah, she's quite, oh, who else? There's a few.
She's like 40, isn't she? 40, 41?
Yeah, something like that, which is crazy. There's a couple other girls. Like we have, there's another girl in freestyle who's I think 32, which for us is super old. Um, so yeah, I
Damn, I'm
definitely still have
31. I'm like, I'm not that old.
yeah. I got another one in me.
Back's starting to hurt a little bit, but
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's all just like kind of based on how you're doing health wise. Hopefully I'll be feeling really good and fresh. Sometimes you have pretty bad injuries and that makes it hard to kind of keep going, but obviously trying to do as much as I can, stay strong in the gym and stay healthy so that I can keep training and be there in 4 years. But yeah.
my head's just spinning of ideas that we can incorporate Monster into your next podium finish at the Olympics now. I'm like, how can we get you
How
paid?
do we do this? Well, it was pretty
like,
funny because my younger brother was in the crowd and he was wearing a Monster hat.
nice.
And I always tease them because I'm like, you always are stealing my gear. I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, be careful. But then I think they probably saw that at the Olympics and they're like probably hyped. Like some branding next to Megan while she's celebrating.
You should have like a water bottle or something that has the Olympic, like an Olympic sleeve or something on top of it, and then just like casually like let it drop off and it be a Monster can underneath or a Monster logo underneath on the podium or something like that. That'd be kind of sick.
You know, they make these I saw another Monster athlete who got it after he won the last Olympics. It's like this Monster chain that they make. It's like a diamond necklace. And I was like, I want one of those so bad.
That would be
It'd be
sick
pretty
too.
sick. You could just like pull out your little necklace and go up on the podium.
That would be unreal.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll get you paid in 2028 or not 2028. What is it? 2030.
23rd, or is it
Wow.
2030? Yeah, 2030.
2030, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll get that $1 million payday for you. Somehow.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what we need. Hopefully the sport will be there by then.
That'll be unreal. Zach, anything else before we let Megan get back to training in Whistler here?
No, I think that's it. And thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And enjoy Whistler. If you're ever around Calgary, let us know. And
yeah, we'll film some
Epic.
content with you. You can take us down one of those big air. I don't know
sure,
if
yeah.
Calgary even. I would 100% be down to put my life on the line for.
Take your podcast host down the slope.
they had a monster event at the Stampede last year. It was more like motocross style, but
yeah.
Try and get to one of those events at the Stampede.
I will, yeah. No, Monster's so good. They do a bunch of events like that. I definitely could go. I went to F1 one year, which was so sick. Yeah, in Montreal. But yeah, Stampede's definitely on the list. Maybe this year. That'd
do it.
fun.
If you need anything, just let us know because we frequent it. So
Sick. Sick. I'd be so hyped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll hook
thank
you
you
up.
guys so much. It's been so epic, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck for the rest of the. I guess the rest of the way you have World Cup coming up, like Zach just mentioned. So good luck with that. We'll be watching, and we hope to see. I'm sure we'll see you again in the Olympics in 2030. But in the years between then, good luck, and we'll be happy to support you.
Thank you.
All right.
Peace.